Welcome back to the Edward Allen Walsh channel. Today, guys, I got something a little different. There was no double trophies Monday boost, so I decided I'd just work on putting a video together. I'm not even really in town. You're just watching a loop of it, but I figured I'd want to discuss some things before I show you some of the new stuff of what's going on in PvP. I still want to keep you up to date with new content and when the meta's changing or dramatically making a difference. As all of you should know by now, the Dwarves got an update. They're no longer shitty. I think, myself personally, the two of them are meta-worthy, and they're going to be on offensive attack teams because I'm using them on offensive attack teams. For those of you who thought Assassins was, the next best thing, it was going to be a great team, it was a good team, Dwarfs just totally wreck it. I haven't lost to Assassins since I've been using Kai or Tusk, depending upon their setup, and then the Green Dwarf, Valakin, and Solaris is like, I feel like somebody blindfolded can't lose that fight. The meta's changing because people aren't all using the same teams as they were, 2 weeks ago or a week ago. I guess, dwarves are the new things. People's probably wondering, how do you counter dwarves or how do you beat the dwarf team? That secret lies within Agnon and Echo, or Iku, however you want to pronounce them. Those two heroes together, I think, are the most powerful team of two heroes in the meta right now. You can just wreak havoc on about 80% of the meta. The other two heroes on your team will depend upon what you're fighting against, whether you want to use, Solaris's, Emily's, Hopper's, whatever you need at the time. But what you're going to be using, to take down dwarves, to take down, other Agnon teams, Zom teams, is Agnon and Echo. Furnace is a whole nother hero when he starts with a taunt rune. I've been having the most trouble, I'd say, with taunted barbs when they start with Furnace taunt. That can be pretty tricky for me. The other one that I'm using taunt on is Hopper. Those of you who had watched my previous week's videos, you already knew what I was doing with Hopper, but I feel like the most powerful attack team overall, the one that I'm using more, that I'm not switching out so much for, is Shade, Hopper, Agnon, Echo, and that's with Agnon, that's with Hopper having taunt and having 2 festive runes, which we just bought a couple weeks ago for 9,000 gems. So it always pays to save up and stock up on your gems, guys. That way when opportunities like that come around, you can capitalize and not be left behind. As is, I don't feel like anything's too strong in the meta, so I put up like a 70 streak last night, and I started streaking today, and then I hiccuped, and then I just quit, and then I figured, I better work on a movie. But anyway, I got the best matches, I guess, along the way on the 70 streak, and I made sure to keep the loss of it. So I'm going to break down those fights and let you know kind of what's going on inside PvP. I don't know if there's never going to be more trophy boosts or what. I wasn't a supporter of it. I kind of hope they never have them again. I hope they don't let anybody buy 2 times trophy boosts for $5, but it doesn't really matter. As long as they're letting people buy 100 raids for $10, you can always just buy more raids, get more trophies that way. But the double trophies boost I just particularly wasn't thrilled with, because I just would think down the future, what if I try to run for first place, somebody can just buy double trophies out of nowhere. So that leaves me with what am I going to do in the future if they don't have those boosts? I don't know yet. I'll figure out something to give you guys content. That's why I wish y'all'd comment more. But as is, I want to work on a video for tips on new players, because I know that most of you guys ask me like, yeah, that all looks good in the future, but what do I do now? So I'm going to try and work on that, but for right now, I just want to show you what's going on in PvP before the week's over, so that if you were, falling behind and not knowing how to beat dwarves or not knowing what the hell's going on, now you'll know, you'll have a little bit of a better idea. So I hope you all enjoy. Alright, so first up we got dwarves with Emily. I believe that Emily makes the dwarf team worse. On attack, our green dwarf allows us to be able to take down an Emily right off the rip if they don't have a taunt rune. So we're always checking to see if they have taunt runes, because if they do have a taunt rune, then we know we're bringing Hopper. But if they don't have a taunt rune, then we know we're bringing our green dwarf and we're taking out Emily on the first first chance we get. Also, Valakin is, he's pretty easy to kill, guys. He's not really that hard to kill. But we're bringing, the Agnon Echo package to take out dwarves. It's just so much damage, and you're able to refuel up and damage out again. But we're bringing the Emily for Hopper insurance. We want our Hopper to be alive when it matters, and that's sort of what Emily's for. And if you're going to let Valakin survive, meaning you're not going to kill him on turn 1, you have to bring a way to unfreeze your Echo. But Plummeting Doom pretty much, is the one-shot KO to whatever dwarf you don't want to deal with. So I like having the option to plummet every turn if need be. But Agnon's Terror Storm wrecks on dwarves. And as everybody should already know, if you can get Agnon dead and revive him with haste and an extra turn, you can do some pretty intense damage to a large amount of people quickly. As you'll see when we slam down the problem plus rock up for protection. The blue little Thendron, or whatever his name is, Thebran, dynamite throwing guy, he seems to be the dwarf that can put out the most damage. But right now, I can't understand why the meta need a dwarf that can put out a bunch of damage. We just needed a dwarf that, could kill assassins. Actually, we didn't even really need a dwarf, but if we were going to get dwarf upgrades, that's what we would be looking for. Like, how are these going to help me? How are these going to help me, later on? But here we have a 6K assassin team. I don't think you can get any more, I mean, you can, but I tried to get a showing of the best assassin teams so I wouldn't have to keep showing them, because we fought so many assassin teams. We fought a lot of barb teams too. People just, I guess they just keep making the same teams as their brother and sister. I don't get it. But here, we don't always use Kai. I have my Tusk rune up, and I also have my Kai rune up. A lot of times when I see Shadowblade, I bring Tusk instead of Kai. If there's taunt runes, then I usually always bring Kai. And that's because if they have Emily or something, I want to be able to kill her, not have to kill the taunted person so they can revive. This jackhammer move, it'll even kill a Tusk off the rip, guys. Not just an Emily. So, like, Dungeon Boss giving, scrub like me the option to kill a Tusk or an Emily off the rip is just, it's extremely powerful in the meta for me. The Assassins team, you're seeing, a really good one here. And it's not even, there's nothing it can do to this. It's, you get to kill one guy off the rip, you get to freeze him down, kill another guy. Like, there's no assassin team in a world of dwarves. It may be harder for the noobs to level up their dwarves than it is for the assassins, but I mean, you may use the assassins somewhere in your attack teams, but I never was. So now that they're not relevant, I mean, it's just a whole lot of yellow runes I didn't have, don't need. Glad I wasn't trying to invest in these guys. But I will be, I'm invested in the green dwarf and Valakin, Hailgrim, or however his name is pronounced. Here we've got what I believe is a Furnace Taunt. This was a very tricky team when I first looked at it, except they had a taunt rune on Valakin. And I just felt like, you're an idiot, because that's who I'm gonna kill then. If you didn't have that, I would have been in a way worse mindset on what I do against a team like this. But when I look at this team, I'm looking at who's doing damage. You know, I know that little Thalgrim guy does damage and the green guy does damage. So I really want to not lose to their damage output. So I felt like those were the two guys that could kill me. I'm not sure exactly what team we brought, but I know I love getting my Agnon involved, and I love to get Echo involved, but we don't always get so fortunate. But thankfully, there's no like super long game in the Dwarfs plan. I mean, you either beat them or you don't. It's not like a Solaris or a Zom where they make fucking comebacks. So we do get our Echo in here every time. That basically when you're constructing your defense with Dwarves, you want to make sure you make it not appetizing for them to bring Agnon and Echo. If you can force me to not be able to bring my Echo, I don't feel so confident in those fights. Here, though, you know, you're letting me plummet your Valakin, which allowed me to be able to bring the team that I brought. It would have been a whole different story. What's also worth note there, guys, which will hem you up, is that if you kill Valakin, the green guy will smack your teeth out of your mouth. Don't think he won't. So don't forget that, because I've lost because I forget that, and I bring my own green dwarf and plan to take Valakin out before he goes, but then their green guy retaliates and takes out my green guy. And then I'm like, well, that's not how I planned on the fight going down. So make sure you're aware of that. Not all the dwarves will defend or will attack back for Valakin like that, like in defense, but the green guy will. So being able to do the two moves, though, is why the green guy's so good. Valakin paired up with him makes him fast. So, I mean, that's pretty much the only time I'm using the green guys, when I'm bringing Valakin too. But I've been using lots of attack teams with them, guys. You might not have them in this video, but examples could even go as far as Shade Hopper, the green guy, and Valakin. But the main thing to just realize in PvP right now is duos. Here we go. This was an assassin team that was starting to come to light, where I would be forced into Tusk. So this I felt like I had to keep this one in here to show you guys, you know, what do you do when they have the Abigail? That's when you definitely bring Tusk. Now you're being able to get Tusk in the second slot after the green guy. So you can just come in and wreck whoever's got a taunt rune. And if they don't have a taunt rune, you just take out Shadow Blade, and then your Tusk will be, you know, active. Or however you want to do it. Take out Black Diamond so that your Tusk can eat Shadow Blade. But they can't, they don't have a chance. The assassin team is just, it's over. It was quick-lived, and it was on, the event. I mean, it was an amazing team for the event. They didn't take debuffs, so, I mean, what kind of team's not good when they don't take debuffs? But I think it misled a lot of people into thinking, you know, assassins were so great or whatever, but nah, man. When they're able to take debuffs, Valakin was smashing assassins before Valakin even got updated. Now, though, he's so updated that a scrub like me can go up against, you know, level 80s with all elites and not have a problem. So that can definitely help you other people out there who maybe not have a lot of hero investment. Valakin is definitely, in my opinion, he's worth investing in. He's a legendary. His tokens are hard to get. If you see him in the portal, why would you buy a Valakin with 2,700 gems in the portal? I don't know if you necessarily would, but if you do, it probably has something to do with the fact that, you know, that Drake, that Barb that was so good, the one who allowed your whole team of Barbs to, like, swing in? Well, Valakin does the same thing, but with his normal attack also. So, like, the fact that he's got that pillage with every move, that's why you want a Valakin. That's why you can build with a Valakin. Here, this team is in here, guys, because it hems me up a lot. But I felt like, you know, the teams like this, they don't have a chance against an Agnon if you can get an Echo in there. I don't always know that if we do. But I also like to get Furnaces in when I see Emily's before Agnons. That's a tip for you guys. If you see Emily before Agnon, Furnace is really good because you get to go right after Emily and put your taunt up and dude eats it. So I would probably, if I was going to run the team that we're going against, I'd probably switch up my Emily Agnon order. Usually the only time I want Emily before Agnon is when I have her paired with like Hopper, and that's because I want Hopper alive when Agnon does his move. But yeah, I have been doing a lot of one hero counter one hero thing, you know, but if you see Emily, that you're pretty much doing one of two things. You're either killing Emily before you kill anybody else, or you're bringing Hopper. So that's what I'm always doing. I'm always doing one or the other. But now the other option is very valid. Like, we totally could have come in here with Kai, the green, you know, Dwarf, Agnon, and Valakin, and smashed right on some face. Like, killed Emily right off the rip, maybe. Like, I don't know if Tusk gives her that much DR, but that's why we didn't go all that route. But I'm just saying, like, now you have the option where you can start thinking that if they don't have taunts up, you can just smack Emily off the face of the earth. So that's why it also made Kai pretty good, I think. I've been using Kai a little bit more. Been using Kai to even beat the Swinlin teams now. They just go ahead and knock the taunt off Swinlin with Kai. I just basically consider Kai the counter to Swinlin. It's like, oh, they got Swinlin. Oh, then I'll just bring Kai. I'll take off the taunt, and then I'll kill whoever the hell they didn't want me killing in the first place, and that's why they had taunt on Swinlin. Like, so there's been a lot of changes here recently. You know, Kai's updates are recent. The Dwarves updates are recent. So PvP, I really feel like the creativity window is getting smaller, and the developers are taking control and saying, you know, this is good right now because I made it good right now, and next week this will be good because I made it good. And it's like you guys are controlling what I play with now, in a sense. Like, I'm hoping, though, that's not what's going on, but at the same time, I noticed that now I got 13 heroes that I'm rune up and that I'm using that are top shelf to me, whereas before I've always used 10. This Dwarf team, guys, you're going to see a bunch. If you don't know how to beat it, it's going to knock your socks off. That blue little dynamite throwing guy can hit your face pretty damn hard. The idea for me in here is, like, there's no green guy in this one. So I know that if I can get underneath Valakin and kill him before he gets to go, there won't be no revenge attack crap. So that's probably what I'm going to do here. Not all these matches are, you know, up to date in my head. I'm not really sure. I just know that I had some good content on how to get through these Dwarf teams. I didn't want to keep showing you guys what you've seen in previous weeks, you know, Barb teams, Assassin teams, back and forth, or whatever, or Zom teams. So I just wanted, you know, try and focus on things that I thought maybe, you know, I might lose going into these fights. A lot of these guys are ruining out the fucking roof. And once I had used up all my cheap raids, and I had to wait like every 2 hours before I could fight a new opponent. Those opponent guys were real tough, so I felt like, you know, being able to get some of them on camera would help show my audience, you know, what's going on in PvP, so you don't get overwhelmed. You don't think, oh man, the dwarves are broken, you know, you gotta ban them like everybody did with assassins, like everybody did with bars, like everybody does with everything. I just want to show you that, you know, in my opinion, only 2 of the dwarves are worthy. I know the blue guy is good and he does a bunch of damage, but I just, like, who cares? That's what Agnon does in PvP right now. He kills people, like, so I don't need... these green and blue guys here that you're looking at, they serve specific purposes on what they're doing, you know? Like, just killing people isn't their purpose. Like, it's far from it. Being able to kill Emily or Tusk, the green guy, you know, that's a whole new option that wasn't out there. The blue guy's not making other options out there that weren't. Here's an example. This is not a high rune team, but it could easily be considered a bait team, man. The guy's got, you know, improves on his Valakin, but elites where it matters, you know. So when I see that, I'm like, yeah, you're slick, you know. You're making your team as low power as you can get it without taking away its way to win, which, you know, is still just as strong. But I look at that and I just got to come in and exploit, you know, whatever I can. And this might even be one of the ones where I bring in Kai, guys, just because, yeah, this is what I mean right here. Kai opens up a lot of windows, and so does a shrouded dodge and taunting freaking Hopper, man. But when you put the Hopper with the Echo and Shay with Echo, you got backup. If you don't dodge and they kill your Hopper with their Agnon, then you just turn to possess your own Hopper with Shade. That door can be closed if opponent has a shade and possesses first, or if they have a hopper and each are hoppers. So you don't want to put yourself in those fights, but there's other options. Here I just wanted you guys to see that, you know, some of these Swindlin teams, the only thing protecting them is taunt. Like, they got all their ability to beat you in Agnon. And then once Agnon's out of the game, it's pretty much, you know, easy pickings. So when you see those Swindlin taunt teams like that, that's when you know Kai's a good option. Now, when they're freaking, you know, 6K powered Swindlin teams with other shit, like, then you might want to bring something different. But here's just an example, you know, that Kai's opening up new doorways that weren't there just a couple of weeks ago in PvP. This here, we're risking a 70 streak. I had just talked shit in the chat maybe an hour before this fight about how Lily I haven't lost to a Lily defense in as long as I can remember. I think the mistake that I make in here is I don't bring a long enough game plan. I should have really brought a Solaris, I think. If I brought a Solaris, I don't think this guy would have eat me. Also, most of the fights where I use that team right there, I didn't have on camera, mainly just because they're like 5K teams, you know, or lower, or they're barbs, or they're whatever, but, well, they're not barbs. I don't use this team versus barbs, but they're like low Zom teams. This team is amazing because you just get Agnon damage out the wazoo. Their Tusk cannot freeze my Echo anymore because of taunt on Hopper, but this is probably a good fight because I came in basically, you know, on one life. That's what I call it when I don't have a Solaris, a Zom, or an Emily. I'm riding on one life, and I don't think that was a long enough end game here. I think I had the right idea. I just feel like, you know, if my Echo had been Solaris, maybe, I think, you know, this be a different fight. But Solaris, you know, might be frozen, so. Alright, now Solaris be fine because of the taunt. I'm getting off track. Mainly the problem that happened here was I could not keep my Agnon alive, and I have changed my shade. My shade is not on all defense and HP, guys. Shade is on, you know, like 2 attack, 2 offensive runes, 2 defensive runes, and then the festive. Hopper's on 2 festives of the taunt, casters, and attack. And then I put the other taunt on my furnace. I don't have videos of me using all of those runed heroes the way that I use them, but I just want to draw most of my attention to the fact that you can make so many different teams with Agnon and Echo, and you can take down a lot of these Barb teams, a lot of these Lily teams, a lot of these Zom teams, a lot of these, you know, whatever teams that basically you just need it, you know, a plummet into triple pound into another plummet, or a plummet into, you know, one, whatever. And then the worst part of it all is there was opportunity to win in this fight, and we don't seize on it. I think I was so scared, you know, I'm going to lose my 70 streak, that I kind of rushed my move sequences and got ahead of myself. Like here, I don't know why I would think that a possession needs 2 energy, but I guess I was just so scared, like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking lose. My 70 streak tie didn't bring enough. He was too high, the gap was too big. But I think, man, if I had that fight back and we ran it down slow and I got to think while everything was going on, I think we could have won. I think there was opportunities to capitalize that we misplayed and didn't capitalize. Also, like, once we get this, you know, Lily down, which I had planned, possess Lily and hope that her vines were going to be enough to take down Solaris. Well, if that's what my plan was, then the last move I do on Lily should be her vines, not the first. Meaning the first move I do should be her, any damage you do to me is going to hurt you. And then my next move should probably be poker with a 0 damage, and then the next move lay vines. But at this point I thought I had no chance in a million years to win, so I just hated life, and was like, alright, I get to go to bed now, because I had to wait for cheap raids to even be able to get to 70. I do not like to spend 100 on 4 raids. I do it occasionally, but I do not like it. Not a fan of it. People who have VIP statuses can pay 20% less for their raids than I can, but yeah, I guess that's like the desperate look in a chat for a way you're going to win, but there's no way you're going to win in the chat either. You're done. You're down. 70 out the window. Dungeon boss wins. They got you with a Lily team after you just talked shit on Lily in the chat. My Lily does not have runes. This fight was just from earlier today when I lost my streak. I kind of hiccuped. I forgot the damn game plan. Agnon, Echo is who you got to smash into these fights. The other two is who you try to work around, and I think we left Echo out, and we end up paying the price. We didn't have enough damage to put this team in the dirt. But just like the one we just watched, there's opportunity in this fight for me to capitalize, and I don't think I do. So definitely misplays involved. If those of you watching, if you do want to see, how I'm using Taunting Furnace, to take on Green Guy. If you want to see, my Hopper dodging Shrouded, in action, just comment that stuff. I'll make another video but that's what I've already been doing. I think you got all that's already been, showed on video. Those teams, I told you guys that my taunt room is going on Furnace. It allows you to put him farther back in the lineup sometimes. That's cool, but for the most part, like here, we're bringing Furnace just to be able to eat their Dwarf guy and then kill their Valakin. But like I said, when you're looking at an all-Dwarf team, don't forget that the green one will freaking knock your teeth out if you kill one of the Dwarves. So you kind of don't want that to happen. But they didn't have an Emily or anything, so you don't have to bring Hoppers or any, long game strategy. You just kind of get to one life them. I'm not sure if that's where the meta's going, to where, we're going to get down into these. I can't risk it's just too intense. It's too much tempo for me to be able to risk an end game strategy in a hero slot like Zom, Solaris, or Emily or something, to where you just need like more action or more something to happen right then and there. Like you're seeing in this fight, like we got 8 heroes and none of them are Emily, Solaris, or Zom. So that means, shit's going down and there's no way out. Valakin's freeze, it works on opposing dwarves quite well. It doesn't work on their Valakin very well, but that's why, you put his ass in the dirt anyway. I try not to kill the Dark Dwarf. I can't wait in the future, guys. I think we're going to see like shaded dwarves, where it's going to be the Dark Dwarf shade and the green and Valakin, and there'll be a taunt rune on the shaded or the Dark Dwarf, and it's going to be shade barbs all over again. I don't know. That would be crazy. But it's definitely crossed my mind when I was, looking through the matches. Also, I went ahead and I looked at, the top 25 or the people above me in PvP this week to see what kind of defenses they were running. I could put a video up and talk about that and how you would counter them. I don't really know where to go from here. I was planning to film Double Trophies Mondays today and show you guys that nothing gives me a problem in PvP. And instead, I ended up figuring I'd show you guys how to beat the dwarves. how to stay strong in this meta, how to get your Agnon rocking, get him as the Echo partner, and now's the right time for that. That's all the matches that I thought were of major significance, meaning I think those are noteworthy for where the meta's headed. I don't think that you can't win without, a taunted, shrouded Hopper. I just think that you would rather have the festive runes when they come around than not have them. So you better save your gems and get them. Those energy runes are what I use to bridge gaps. We also have the healer runes. They work great in the tower. I don't think the energy runes work in the tower. Tower for me, guys, since Hopper has had taunted, and he's had, just since he's had taunt, I've been able to use Shade, Hopper, Agnon, Zom in the tower, and I can beat all the floors except for the barbs, and then when I get the barbs, I just bring Furno, Agnon, and Emily, and Zom. And so that's allowing my Zom to do all 12 floors of the tower, and then we just work on trying to make sure that he stays alive the whole time, because when he dies, everything falls apart like dominoes, and then you got to hope to scramble to the top before, you run out of heroes. And in my case, that's why I got greater heroes on about 6 heroes now, is because of the tower, but I've only failed like 2 towers since Barb release, so that's how we keep getting our gems up so high, guys, is legending 1 like day 1 of PvP, and then towering every day. We have bounced back about 3,500 gems since buying those festive runes. So hopefully we'll just make the gem count go up, and we should get top 50 this week. That 70 streak bumped us way up. Maybe we even if we can get another good streak, we can get top 25. But I felt like there's a lot of value in letting you know that, the dwarves are definitely going to make an impact, and don't feel overwhelmed by them. For those of you who invested in assassins, I don't know what to tell you, because whatever, that's your problem. I wasn't a fan of the whole assassin thing. I'm not a fan of Dungeon Boss making my teams. Anyway, guys, I know this video is different. I wish you all would hit that subscribe button if you haven't. I plan to keep making content. I'm not sure exactly where the channel's going, Dungeon Boss content-wise. I also will be planning to put up more real-life content. My life is always an adventure. I live in my vehicle, and shit's going down, on the regular, and I'm sure it would be interesting to some people. But for now, guys, this video is way shorter than a Double Trophies video, so I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video, comment, and if you haven't, hit that sub button. Thank you, guys. Thank you to everyone who watches. I hope you